Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's with real sadness that the Green Party is opposing this Vulnerable Children's Bill. The Green Party and our MPs are absolutely passionate about making New Zealand a great place for our children to grow up in. We want to address the causes of vulnerability and the well-being of our children. That's why we put child poverty on the political agenda last term. And because we know poverty is created and can be eliminated by government policy, we continue to call for action at every chance we get. We are very sad that all of the government's policy work, from the Green Paper to the White Paper to this bill, all fail to acknowledge the fact that some families right now are being forced to neglect their children's needs because they do not have the income to provide for them. This government's policies have resulted in parents of children with, say, skin infections, buying medication and not food because they are too scared that the government-funded agencies that are supposedly there supporting them would report them to SIFS if they didn't make that choice. To allow this situation to continue while bringing this bill to the House that supposedly puts vulnerable children first is not right. We want a government response that will make a difference and do what's needed. I think, though, that at least I could still have voted for this bill if it was just a matter of not doing enough. But for me, at least, the clincher against supporting it is my concern that it will actually do harm to some of our children. I've mentioned in this House before New Zealand's high rates of domestic violence. Police are called out to an incident of domestic violence in this country at least once every 7 minutes, and they estimate that that is only about 20% of the cases experienced in this country. This is a massive problem and one that we don't have a handle on. We may have done a big social marketing campaign, but still the police response, court systems, capacity of our support agencies and child, youth and family policies are a very long way from sorted. Yet this bill does nothing to address those problems, the most significant cause of risk to our children. All children are harmed by domestic violence, and in 40 to 60% of homes where a parent is being abused, the children will be maltreated. And the reverse is true. In 40 to 60% of child maltreatment cases, domestic violence will be present. Now remember how many families this applies to in New Zealand. Then remember the fact that our systems are failing to adequately respond to this violence. And then remember this bill does nothing to address that. It doesn't even acknowledge domestic violence. The White Paper basically censored domestic violence out of the picture. It's a ridiculous response when you consider that. According to leading US child psychologist Dr. Robert Geffner, a practitioner and expert on child well-being in cases of domestic violence, the first thing we need to do when there's an accusation or concern about child abuse or domestic violence is properly, according to best practice, assess risk. This does not happen in New Zealand. Then, if there's evidence of risk, the abuser, mostly the father, needs to be separated from the children until he has successfully changed his behaviours, attitudes and beliefs. This does not happen in New Zealand, and these courses are hard to access. The children should be put in the protective care of the mother or the protective parent, and who should be given support and counselling. This does not happen in New Zealand. Children should be getting the support and counselling they need automatically. This does not happen in New Zealand. This bill does not address these problems. It does not address the vulnerability and needs of our children, and this House can do better.
Mike Sabin.
Honestly, sir, I don't know where that member was during the select committee process, during the hearings or